Okay, so I'm going to take a look today at the Draper Expert 4-piece wobble extension bar set in 1/4 inch, and they are chrome vanadium. You can see there you've got, it says on the back, you've got a 50, a 100, a 150 and a 250mm. So we don't have a 75mm in the wobble, which is a little bit, I don't know, maybe find that a little bit strange, I don't know. You know, we've got a little 50 but no 75, and we've got a 100 but no 75. Again, you could probably use the 100 over the 75, but the 100 isn't much smaller than a 150 again, so that's a bit of a strange one. We take a look at the back. They tell you to give us 15 degrees of offset or wobble on there. So we'll get it open, we'll take a look. I just took the staples out. Actually, we'll get it. So if I can go in there, pouring out onto the table. Take a look at the 150, I think it is. Yep, the 150. We can see the Draper Expert on there, and it is labelled, stamped on as being chrome vanadium. The cross diamond pattern nail on there is a very good and very neat knurling. Actually, you will notice that these are mirror finished. And they are chrome plated. The there is indents in there on the ends. See the wobble end. Obviously what that does over the standard type is allows you to have a degree of wobble. So you've got a degree of wobble movement on your job. So if you've got a slightly awkward fixing or fasteners to get to, and the extension's coming up against something else, and it's making it awkward, then you've obviously got this option which allows you to get around such obstacles and things like that, and so you can work kind of at an angle. Just makes life a little bit easier sometimes. The wobble bars do have a flat part at the very back, so if you push it all the way back, but for that to happen you can't. You see this, you have the ball part on some sockets like that. It won't go back like that. You will have to push it back on this one for some reason, on the indents, for it to lock. There actually isn't a very large locking area on this one at all. In fact, on the the 150, so that's something we've noticed. Whereas if we take the 100, you'll see the locking area is, and the same with all the others. I like this one. You see that the locking area there is different. You've got that square part there. So the 150 doesn't have what all the others have. Doesn't really have that big area. So that's why it wasn't really locking back on there. That's another reason why you should always have, like we looked at the other day, a usual squared extension. But you can see there that pushes all the way down, and it's solid, just like an ordinary extension. Then if you want the wobble again, you just pull it out a little bit and you've got the wobble again. And if you want it rigid, it goes like that. But the only trouble with these small area wobble bars is that if you do come into a situation like the other day with that one that bent, where it's very rare that you do with a 1/4 inch, and I think a lot of tool companies probably take that into account when they make their things out of high carbon steel instead of for 1/4 inch instead of true chrome vanadium and things like that, because I think they can get away with doing that while making their 3/8 and 1/2 inch drive stuff out of chrome vanadium. Because I think you very rarely get a 1/4 inch fastener that needs a hell of a lot of torque, and that will damage, when used properly, will damage the drive itself. But like I say, you do get them from time to time, like that one I did the other day, which chewed the end up of the 75mm extension. And in those kind of a situation, when you haven't got the whole area to grip onto in the socket, and you've only just got this back part here, that's obviously even more worrying when it comes to chewing the or bending the end up, because there's less surface area there. So it's only gripping with that tiny amount you see within the back of the socket, instead of the whole amount. If it was like we looked at the Bergen ones the other day, the whole square of the extension itself. But it is always a good thing to have that the option of a rigid as well, if you've just got this to in your hand there and then. Except the 150 doesn't have that option there, I'm afraid. It just has the wobble head. There's no real flat. That's why it wasn't. That's why I was having trouble. So it'll wobble, but it won't push back. That's why it's springing back on me, because the 150 doesn't have the option. Now that is a bit strange, but it's something we've just found off the. Otherwise, they're made all to the same kind of specification, all the different little ones. Again, for the 100, we've got the knurl, cross diamond knurl. It's done very well again. The little 50, same again. The knurl, indents inside the connection. The wobble head and the rigid flat back. You can just take a look at these Draper Expert 1/4 inch drive wobble extensions in the macro. We can just see if we focus in there. Oh, it's upside down. We've got the Draper Expert logo there with the chrome vanadium. There's your diamond cross pattern knurl. Which is really quite nice. Quite neatly done at the edges as well. There's no run over to the shaft itself. It's all nice and smooth. The insides, you got the indents. And this is the one. Take a look at the wobble itself. This is the one that didn't have the flat back on it, so we couldn't get the socket to shut down rigid on the end. But you can take a look at the wobble part anyway on there. The ball, the retention ball itself looks nice and centered. You take a look at the 100. Again, it's pretty much the same thing, which is yeah, it's pretty strange. Draper Expert, the cross pattern diamond knurl. It's been done nicely. The indents in there. We'll take a look at the wobble end. Again, you can see there that the wobble end, the ball retention ball is nice and centered. Have a good look at the actual wobble. You can see the flat back. So we can lock the socket down rigid on this one and all the others as well. Put them together. You can see that there's no flat back on this one compared to that one. So I don't know whether this is the case with all the sets or whether I've just picked up one macaroni one. I don't know. The product looks pretty well finished to me. I would have thought if it was something wrong with the you know, a defect, then it wouldn't look quite so good and quite so finished. You know, I would have thought it'd look a bit more deformed or something like that. So it's possible that the 150, or is this a 200? Is I think it's the 200, isn't it? Is possibly one way to find out. Is this is the 150, as we can see. So this is the 150. So it's possible that the 150 in every pack is like that. So just bear that in mind. That's why you should always have like the Bergen ones that we picked up and reviewed the other day. Some normal rigid locking extensions as well.